In a world first, Ukraine used AI drones to identify and attack Russian bombers, hitting air bases deep inside Russia, damaging or destroying a third of its long-range bomber force. Operation Spiderweb, as it's known, was a bold plan, thought up by Ukraine's intelligence agency, the SBU, to attack and destroy as much of Russia's bomber fleet as possible. Planes like the Tu-22 Backfire, the Tu-95 Bear, and the supersonic Tu-160 Blackjack had been used extensively to launch salvos of cruise missiles at targets inside Ukraine, often to great effect. Put in place in late 2023, the Ukrainian plan was to train AI software to be installed onto armed drones that would then recognize certain types of planes, namely Russia's bombers and early warning aircraft. Ukraine had old versions of these planes in its museums, and the AI was trained on them, learning to spot their distinctive size and features. When the time was right, 117 of these armed drones were smuggled into Russia, hidden in secret compartments on the roofs of several trucks. Those trucks were driven close to 5 air bases across Russia, their clueless drivers told to wait. The drones were then released remotely, making straight for the airbase, and the bombers lined up there. According to Ukraine, the operation was a major success, the drones damaging or destroying 41 aircraft, effectively taking out a third of Russia's bomber fleet. This has huge implications. These are expensive aircraft. Drones costing no more than a few $1,000s each cause more than $7 billion worth of damage. Russia doesn't make the Tupolev Bear and Backfire bombers anymore. Spare parts are hard to find, and there'll be no aircraft to replace them. The Blackjack bomber is still in limited production, but it'll take Russia years to replace these long-range aircraft, which are all a vital part of Russia's patrol and early warning systems, and also part of Russia's nuclear forces. Ukraine also demonstrated it could reach deep inside Russia. Olenya Air Base in Murmansk in the far north is over 1,800 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. Belaya Air Base is even further away, some 4,300 kilometers from Ukraine, deep inside Russia, where the Air Force thought it would be safe from Ukrainian attacks. They were wrong. The intelligence gathered by Ukraine with Western help was a key part of the whole operation. Russia had started to move its bomber forces around randomly in an effort to throw the SBU off the scent, but obviously failed. This new form of conflict, relying on AI-powered drones, is just the latest in the revolution in warfare currently being played out. It sets a precedent for future conflicts where drone swarms will be trained to recognize tanks, certain uniforms, fortified positions, and artillery. There is another concern. The remotely released AI-trained drones, this time trained to recognize a certain person, will now become part of the assassin's arsenal.